But we begin in Ukraine, where at least 7 people were killed and 11 others injured after Russian missile strikes in the western city of Lviv today. 3 missiles hit military infrastructure facilities and a 4th struck a tire repair shop. The regional military governor says the death toll could rise as rescue efforts continue. Lviv is about 50 miles east of Ukraine's border with Poland and has largely been a refuge for Ukrainians fleeing the war. Meanwhile, Ukrainian and Russian officials have reported a rise in fighting in the east over the past 24 hours. President Zelensky has said he is not willing to give up territory in the Donbass region to end the war. And Ukrainian forces continue to resist Russian attacks in the southeastern port city of Mariupol. Civilians and soldiers are holding up in a steelworks plant and have held out against Russia's advances so far. A Ukrainian Marine commander sent an open letter to Pope Francis and called Mariupol, quote, hell on earth. CBS News foreign correspondent Chris Livesay joins me now from Kyiv. Hi, Chris. Good to see you. What more can you tell us about those Russian missile strikes in Lviv today?
Good morning. Yeah, Moscow may be mobilizing in the east, but it can still strike in the west or wherever it wants, for that matter, by air. And that's one thing Moscow is clearly out to prove. Russia is increasing its attacks on Kyiv as well, this following an abrupt retreat from here and around the region after Ukraine beat them back against all odds. Kyiv was supposed to fall in 3 days, and here we are, more than 50 days since the start of the conflict, and it's still fighting. In fact, it's the Russian warship, the Moskva, that is the one that fell and is now sitting at the bottom of the Black Sea. So it's a huge embarrassment for Russia that Ukraine, tiny in comparison, could take out the pride of the Russian fleet. So there's a vindictiveness to these recent attacks as well, meant to show the war is hardly over.
So how likely is it, Chris, that Ukrainian forces can ultimately fend off Russian attacks in Mariupol?
Ukraine has shown remarkable resolve and an ability to defy the odds from the very beginning. That said, I spent the day with a Ukrainian lawmaker from the Black Sea region around Mariupol recently, and he told me the city is already lost. There's a group of diehard defenders who refuse to give up. That's despite Russia's warning to surrender or die. But they're almost certainly still fighting because they have no reason to believe Russian forces will show any mercy if they're captured. Russia has repeatedly fired on civilians trying to flee Mariupol, and that's despite agreeing to ceasefires and humanitarian corridors. And Russian forces are known to fire upon Ukrainians after they've agreed to allow safe passage. So those fighting right now are likely to keep fighting to the bitter end.
Wow, it's so heartbreaking to hear that. So, Chris, officials on both sides have reported an increase in fighting in the east. Are these strikes then a prelude to something bigger? Like you said, you know that there's a certain vindictiveness about these strikes, but is there something else looming on the horizon that might be even worse?
Probably, but, you know, Ukraine beat back Russian forces so badly, it's going to take Russia a while to mobilize a needed 60,000 reservists. That's according to a senior Pentagon official. The eastern Donbass region offers tactical advantages for Russia. First of all, it's closer to Russia's border than Kyiv is, and it offers shorter supply lines. We're also likely to see pitched head-to-head battles where Russia can potentially muscle its way right through with its superior artillery and air power, unlike the guerrilla warfare we've seen so far favoring Ukraine in urban areas like Kyiv. Ukraine's foreign minister says we'll see thousands of tanks, planes, and artillery, unlike anything we've seen since World War II.
Oh, devastating news. And so, Chris, a number of countries are planning to reopen their embassies to Kyiv. What's the latest you're hearing about that?
Yeah, France and Spain, those are just two of the countries reopening their embassies here, but they're not encouraging any of their citizens to come, and that's because Russia continues to strike the area. It's been rumored for days that the mayor is going to declare the city reopened for business this week. Indeed, we've seen stores and restaurants coming back to life. People are out and about, walking through parks. There are even traffic jams once again, something that was, unthinkable just a couple of weeks ago. ago when the only vehicles you saw around were military vehicles. But as I mentioned, Russia's increased airstrikes may change that timeline of reopening the city and more embassies choosing to come back. Right now, the United States, for instance, hasn't said anything about bringing its embassy back here.
So it's wild to hear that a version of life as normal is still itching to go on there in Lviv, which is totally understandable. But Chris, can you give us a sense of the atmosphere there? Are people really worried about what's to come, or are they trying to put that aside and just live their lives?
I mean, there's definitely an appetite for life to return back to normal. I mean, you do see people like joggers out in the streets. That said, it's not at all the thriving metropolis that it was before the war. Yes, restaurants are opening, clubs and bars. Some of them are back open, but there's still a curfew in place. Right now, it lasts until about 11 o'clock at night and lasts until, it starts at 11 o'clock at night and goes until about 5 o'clock in the morning. So it's definitely not a normal city, again, by any stretch of the imagination. But the appetite is there. Nevertheless, people feel like they could still be struck at any moment in Kyiv. That said, that's also true in Western Ukraine, in the relative safety of places like Lviv as well. In fact, you talk to Ukrainians, and they'll tell you that whether they're in Eastern Ukraine or Western Ukraine, it really doesn't matter right now. They feel like they could be a target virtually anywhere they go.
Chris Livesay in Kyiv, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.